That was how I saw myself in a room with 5 other boys to spend the night. And I was like, what is going on? Hello, welcome to today's video. My name is Gineka, and in this video I'm going to be unpacking how I found myself sleeping in a hostel with boys in my recent trip to Birmingham when I went to market my kuli. Because it's a business trip, I was trying to be very economical with booking an accommodation. I booked a hotel, travel lodge. As I was seeing the rate for Thursday, it was looking fairly cheap. I think it was below £50. But the moment I added Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the length of the days I wanted to stay, the money was exorbitant. It was nearly over £300. And I asked myself, how much am I even making in this business? I'm not even yet at the profitable stage. I'm still just trying to push my name to the market. Over £300 was too much for me to bear for accommodation for 5 days. That was why I started scrutinizing, picking the days one by one and booking my accommodation singly, individually. So I booked Thursday for travel lodge and it was okay. I looked for another cheaper accommodation still close by to Sammy's because I didn't want an accommodation that would warrant me taking transportation. I wanted something in close proximity. Then I came across this hostel, PH Hostel Birmingham. I read reviews and it wasn't looking that bad, to be honest. And I saw that it's a girls' hostel. At least I'm very sure I saw girls' hostel, but I do know that they have boys' hostel. But what I don't know, or I never knew, was that they have mixed accommodation. And I saw they have room of 6, 8, and 10. I decided to opt for the room of 6 because I felt even though it's a hostel, I like to keep it small. And it was fairly cheap. I was getting the room for Friday and Saturday between 29 to 30 pounds a night. So I booked that. Then on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday till the end of my stay in Birmingham, I booked back travel lodge because I discovered that travel lodge was cheaper on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. You can get the rooms for less than £50. Other days, the cheapest room are usually more than £50. The good thing about all this accommodation, which I really love, was both travel lodge and the hostel, PH hostel. They kept on sending me information days to my trip to remind me that I have a room reserved in their space and things I would like to do. Marketing now. So recall that I spent the first night in travel lodge, then to spend 2 nights in PH hostel. That's how I went to PH hostel. I wasn't prepared for the rude shock that was about to greet me in the hostel. I got to the reception, presented my ID because they requested for an ID. Thank God I always have my ID on my phone. Then they checked me in the room. Getting to the room, of course, I know it's a hostel. I wasn't expecting too much. The room was simple, and because I checked in so late in the night, I know I'll finish selling the market that carry me and come to Birmingham. I checked in around 10 p.m. or thereabout-ish. Everywhere was dark. The lights were turned off. And I know it's a hostel. I wanted to switch on the light. I needed to ask because I wasn't just going to assume that it was going to be okay for me to switch on the light. I just opened my mouth and said, please, is it okay for me to switch on the light so that I can see clearly? The next thing I heard was a guy's voice, like joke, like play. Yes. Huh? That was my first shock. I'm like, wait, is this a mistake or something? What's going on here? I kept my cool. Then, not up to 5 minutes again, I heard another guy's voice again on another bunk. Now, the good thing about this accommodation is that you won't see anybody, really. They had these thick curtains that demarcated each bunk. I mean, every bunk had these curtains to cover their spaces. So I didn't get to see anybody for the 2 nights that I spent there. This other guy's voice, he was making call. I could no longer hold it in me. I first of all said, let me check my card, my hotel information, to be sure that I'm the one, that I'm not making a mistake, that I have not entered the wrong room. But I couldn't be in the wrong room, really, because you use a swipe card to have access to your room. And if it wasn't the right room, I'm thinking that the card shouldn't have worked. I was like, am I supposed to sleep with guys in this room? And I asked, please, excuse me, I really need to understand, is this a girls' hostel or a boys' hostel? Because I'm confused. And one of the guys answered and said, I don't know. You don't know. I was just worried that, okay, what should I do? Should I go to the reception and ask first? But I was too tired that night. Then I looked at the space that I was allocated to stay, and it was up bunk. Thank God. thanks to the UK weather as well. So ever since I came to this UK, I can't wear a gown without wearing a pants. I mean trousers under it, because the cold, now your mates. So thankfully I had my trousers under. I was already imagining, how am I supposed to climb this bunk with just gown? That's how I just jejely climbed the bunk, me too. And now covered my own curtain too and secured my space. But I was like, what could be the worst thing that could happen to me this night? Papa, I called my husband. I said, Toh, see the condition I met myself, I'm not understanding. My husband was like, are you sure you're safe? Will you not check out? For some reasons, I said, don't worry, we're in the UK. You know what that means? I knew I was safe, really. Of course, I know it's God that has the whole safety, but I had that confidence to be sincere that nothing is going to happen to me here. I already turned off the general lights that I met, switched off. And I asked, please, do I have a personal light space, or how am I supposed to see my bed here? Another guy again answered me. He said, just look up next to where you have your wardrobe space, because they have these cabinets, or more like a cubicle, where you could put your stuff in. You're going to see a bulb, a light bulb. Under the light bulb, you will see a switch. I said, wahala. Now, wow, you both, they can maximize, conserve, build everything in one small space, especially here in the UK, because everything I needed for my comfort was literally on that bed space. There was even a very big, convenient duvet. That's why I now lie down and slept, but I could not stand up to go and pee in the middle of the night. I wasn't feeling so free. I was a bit restricted with my stay. So the following morning now, I must bath. That one, I just have to bath. I even have to I have to pee before I can go to the store and continue my selling. I was listening and monitoring the entire environment. I was hearing people coming out from their space, entering the bedroom. And I could perceive that the coast was clear. And I came down. And also that they even have a big, convenient washroom, which all of us in that room could use. I took a shower, did everything there. And bear in mind that all the while I was doing all this thing, I did not see anybody that we both co-slept in that room, if that English is correct. So when I was done, I left hurriedly. I couldn't go to the receptionist to ask the receptionist that, what's up, what's going on? So in the night when I came back from shop, or when I came back from selling market finish, I went first to the reception. I went to ask the receptionist that, please explain to me, why am I in the room as the only female and 5 other guys? And the person was like, you chose a room, mixed accommodation. I said, which one is mixed? Which one is accommodation? When I was looking for hostel, I know I saw girls hostel. I don't know. In fact, his explanation was valid. So apparently, because I was particular about room of 6 instead of 8 or 10, it's possible that spaces they had available for girls was the room of 8 or room of 10. But because I didn't want that, I chose room of 6 that had one space available. I was particular about a smaller number in a room, so I didn't pay attention anymore. I just assumed that it was girls hostel. He said, do I want to change? I said, at what cost? When he told me the amount, I said, leave it. Me that I managed yesterday night, I will manage this night. To be honest, I even enjoyed the PH hostel more than I enjoyed the travel lodge in terms of kitchen. No, just because of the kitchen, really. Travel lodge was far better, was far conducive, private, enjoyable, touche, you know what I mean? It was given the vibe of business hotel trip. But the thing I didn't like about travel lodge was the room I stayed in. For the price I paid, compared to the price I paid in PH hostel, it did not have microwave. And microwave is very important to me, because I came with soups, stews, cooked food, some cooked food, even jollof rice, which I was fridging at Sammy's store, the staff fridge, and they have microwave. At PH hostel, I was able to bring my dinner to come to the kitchen, to come and microwave and eat freely at the lounge, because they also have this lounge, they have this dining. And the good thing again I must mention is that the hostel was so quiet. The night, you will literally hear a pin drop. The only time that people talked in that hostel was when I asked questions. People did not even receive or make call like that. I was even the one that was receiving or making call. And at a point, I had to tell my family, because it's family members I was speaking with. That was the only time I could speak with them at night when I'm back from selling market. So I had to tell them that I'm in the hostel, I cannot talk much, please, we're going to talk tomorrow, so that I will not be disturbing people. Igbos are so quiet, they are so calm. They don't like noise, they're not like me, that will be shouting up and down. So the major discomfort I experienced at the hostel was by day 2. I'm this kind of person that whenever I'm not in the comfort of my own space, I might not have to use the loo to do the major do, like to defecate. It has been working for me from travel lodge day 1 at the hostel, then by day 2 at the hostel, which is day 3 of my entire stay at Birmingham at that moment. Remember that my reason for being in Birmingham is to sell kuli, and I came with portions so that people can taste and know if they like it and decide to buy or not to buy. And as somebody that is dishing out tasters portion, I had reasons to be tasting, and it happened that I couldn't hold my bowel. Like, I managed to sleep through the night and wake up in the morning. By morning, I knew that if I move like this, any time I do, I will release. That's why I chew all my caution to the wind and ran to the toilet and do. But the toilet was good. Everything, neatness, the cleanness of the environment was top notch. In fact, the hostel had bathing soap, hair shampoo. Travel Lodge only provided me with towels, tissue. I enjoyed walking around, seeing students. It just reminded me of when I was back in the hostel, really. So in all, I don't regret lodging at the hostel and lodging at Travel Lodge. Will I be doing this again? Well, maybe not, because it is my prayer that I should elevate, that my business should be able to fund better, bigger hotel space for me for comfortability's sake. But for adventure's sake, I could still try that, because I don't regret it actually. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please let me know, have you ever consciously, unconsciously, deliberately, or coincidentally found yourself in a room with boys in it? It was strange for me, really, because this is my first time. Oh no, this is not my first time. I remember when I was serving back in 2011 at Abeokuta, you know, during NYSC. That was the period where we were being recruited to participate as INEC officials, we youth corp members. So I left Abeokuta to go to, was it not Ijebu? Yes, Ijebu Ode. And I didn't know anybody in Ijebu Ode, but we were all corpers. Some of us, day 1, we slept outside, you know, just at the INEC. By day 2, when we were done with the election stuff, you know, election can linger up till late in the night. I think we finished around 12 a.m. safe on that day 2, crossing over to another day at that Ijebu, the INEC office. So one of the members of my team, I've forgotten how we used to say it, we shall have the PO, the whatever. Please remind me. My team, a guy with the rest of us, which were all ladies, he said we should come. He's going to lodge us in his house because people already left the INEC office that night. Nobody wanted to stay back. Maybe for security reasons, people were scared and all that, because election result, now we the enter. So we all followed him to his house. But that night, I don't close. As in, hey, I wasn't the only lady, really, this one, so it's even a bit different. He was the only guy, really. So I don't know if it's a similar situation, but shall let me know if you have been in such situation and how you felt. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'll see you in subsequent videos. Bye.